LeBron, the numbers speak for themselves, but how did you feel tonight?
After the first quarter, I kind of, the knee loosened up a lot more. My mind loosened up a lot more. And I was able just to play basketball. But just excited to be back in the uniform, back on the floor with my guys. Missed them. I missed the game. And, happy I was there to make a few plays to help us win the ball game.
In your 5 games out, Anthony Davis has returned and been putting up numbers that have people calling him, bubble AD. What have you seen as you've watched from the sidelines?
The time that he missed brought back the hunger. And it's literally that simple.
LeBron, we've spent a lot of time, I guess when the limited games that you guys have all been together, about trying to figure out fit and getting everybody kind of together. What's the message to a guy like Russ after a night like tonight? Boos from the crowd, tough night shooting, ends the game on the bench. What's the message to him?
I just told him to text me later. I told him to keep going. I told him to stop second-guessing himself during the game. There's a couple times where he had good looks, second-guessed himself. A couple times where he had some drives. He had the drives to second-guess himself. He's an instinctive player, and he should never, what he's done in his league, he should never second-guess himself. If you put the work in, he's put the work in. So, I just told him to just hit me later. And, I don't need to harp on what we need to say to him. He's a big-time player, and, I have the utmost confidence in his ability, not only for this team but for himself individually.
LeBron, when you were warming up before the game, were you already pretty sure that you were going to play tonight, or was there something you were trying to see how the knee was responding before you got out there?
No, I didn't feel that great in my pregame warm-up, to be honest. But I didn't feel as bad as the last warm-up that I had in Charlotte. The last time I tried to do something on the floor, that was the last time I actually did anything on the court. I didn't feel worse than that day. So just gave it a shot, see what happens. And we saw what happened.
LeBron, how has Malik taken advantage of kind of the opportunity that's been presented kind of with the circumstances of this season? And then where does he fit in kind of on of the guys you need to get to where you want to go this year? It seems like he's really emerged as one of the most important pieces of this puzzle.
He's taking full advantage of this opportunity. Obviously, and every game he gets more and more comfortable. He understands his ability and what he brings to this team. He brings a knockout punch that, to be completely honest, we haven't had on our roster since I got here. Someone that can literally, if he makes one, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and it comes in bunches. And he's a big time scorer, but I think what's very underrated about his game is also a great playmaker as well. With the ball in his hands, he doesn't make many mistakes, and is always in control. So he's going to be very key to what we hope to do, going on the stretch and for the rest of the season.
You might get a call from JR about that.
Yeah, Swish is one of those guys too. I agree. Yeah, Swish is definitely one of those guys who, he did it in Game 7 in the finals too, where he came in and hit 3 straight big-time buckets that we needed after being down at halftime. So Swish is definitely on that list.
So I got a question for you. In the time you were out, Tom Brady retired, and publicly we've seen you guys both motivate one another. Who knows what the relationship was like privately, but I'm curious if his retirement struck you in any sort of different way, considering you were out with an injury, and if it made you think about, like, hey, I still get a chance to return.
I personally was just so in shock when I saw it. I was one of the ones that didn't say anything when the first initial announcement came out. I didn't retweet anything. I didn't say anything because I wanted to make sure I heard it from him. And then when he came out with his announcement, I was like, it just is a guy who's kind of just been kind of my motivation factor over the last few years. Seeing what he's able to do at his age, and always, kind of being a leader of a team, and even at his age, people still gravitate towards him and gravitate, his energy and how he prepares and things of that nature. So, small piece of me was definitely left when Brady decided to retire. That's for sure. Say that again.
Did it give you any extra gratitude, the fact that you would be able to come back and you'd be playing more?
Yeah, but I don't think it was a correlation. It wasn't anything that was, side to side. I listen. The man gave us 22 great years, and obviously the numbers speak for itself. The championship speaks for itself. But I just think the way he, when he got that starting job in New England, from the time he was a starter, the way he just carried himself as a professional, day in and day out, committing to the game was something that's just it's a remarkable thing, and something I've always looked up to and respected.
Trevor stepped up the last couple of games with Melo out. He played a season-high 35 minutes tonight, closed the game. What has he given you guys these past couple of games, and what's kind of clicking for him because he had been out of the rotation?
One, he's given us length. Sometimes we play a lot of lineups where we have a lot of smaller guards. So it's at times challenging to rebound, and we have some difficulties rebounding at times. But with TA, in his 35 minutes he had 8 rebounds, and defensively he's always been great. I thought he did a heck of a number on Julius, and I thought Julius was great tonight. But he kept his body in front of him, made him take tough shots. When he made tough shots, he still had a hand up, in his face. And then you have to respect him on the other end because of his ability to knock down shots, and he gives us space at his 6'9" frame. So the more minutes that he gets, I feel like the more and more comfortable that he gets. We're a little older in age, so the more minutes that he gets, and it allows him to feel a rhythm. And when the ball touches his hands, he feels in a good rhythm. And I was happy for him, and I told him, I was extremely happy that I was able to make that pass to him late in the game when he was knocked down that 3. Just told him I trust him, and that's why I threw it to him.
LeBron, R.J. Barrett spent time guarding you tonight, and he had a career-high 36. I know you follow the league closely. I'm curious what your impressions are of him as a young player, especially after going.
He started the game off. I think he had 17 in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, and he had some big-time shots down the stretch. Obviously, the 3 to tie it at 111, but the full court, the dunk and transition, and he just hit key shot after key shot tonight. I've been knowing RJ for quite a while now. I was in Toronto during the summertime. I think he was a high school junior or senior, and it was called to my agent, Rich. Well, he wasn't my agent at the time, but that there was a kid in Toronto that is possibly next. And it was off season. I was in Toronto, just having a good time in Toronto. But I was going to the gym to get some work in, and they called Rich and asked could he join. And I was like, absolutely. So I've been knowing him for quite a while, and I followed him, throughout those last few years of high school, and obviously off to Duke, and now as a Knick. So, he's young, so he's going to have, you're going to have your bumps and bruises throughout your course of your career. While you're young, you're figuring out the game, you're figuring out the speed, you're figuring out the tempo and things of that nature. But, I think he's handled it extremely well, especially, it's a different light and a different heat when you play for the Knicks. And I think he's handled it extremely well. Appreciate it.